Okay, this is going to add a lot of fuel to the AMD FX bulldozer and the Intel, both the Sandy Bridge and the Ivy Bridge. Okay, so first of all, I'll start with this machine that I just got done putting back together. This was a case that I originally had the FX, the AMD FX 4100 in, and which I found to be actually astoundingly good. I'm not kidding. It performed way above my expectations, and I've been an Intel user for years. AMD, I really don't care. I look for raw performance. That's all I look for. And anyway, we'll get back to this. So I just slapped this together here. It's got a Gigabyte main board in it. Nice little main board, actually. This case was just a cheap Chinese case. It's got a 600-watt power supply, Chinese made, which has been running for 6 months now. Actually, almost a year since I put the main board in here. Ever since the AMD first came out, and this power supply has run steady. It's never let me down. The case was just a $30 case, but I put some extra fans on it on the side to draw in the air, and I put some good fans in Antec. I get a push-pull all copper heatsink, push-pull air arrangement, and I put a card reader in myself there. You can't see it very well, and then your basic LG drive. I got 8 gigs of Ripjaws in there at 1600, and the Windows End X is showing pretty much everything except the hard drive, of course, is over 7.7 in it. I've got I just finished putting a brand new card in this. I put the Asus 6850 DirectCU, which is not a top-end card, but it's not bad. It's pretty much will play whatever's out there. And I stuck that in there with the Ripjaw RAM, so the 8 gigs running at 1600. And I took the 4100 out. I took the FX 4100 out, not because I was displeased, but because I got such good performance out of it, both in games, applications, anything I threw at it. It handled everything. I'm not kidding, I was absolutely shocked. I had it overclocked, but I didn't have to overvolt. I just put it to 4.2 and through the multiplier, nothing fancy. And that thing just ran as slick as can be. It didn't run hot. It handled Singularity, Crysis 2 on high settings. I'm not sure if they were ultra, but they were high. They were up there. And this was before I changed the card. I had a ATI 6790, which is just supposed to be just a low mid-range card. And it played every game I threw at it. Crysis 2, Elite Sniper 2, which, by the way, is a great game, in my opinion. Like I said, Singularity, Battlefield 3, which it sawed through, no trouble at all. Call of Duty 3. I think it's Call of Duty Black Ops. I went through that, no trouble. It handled every single one of those games without flinching at all. And that was on that lower mid-range ATI card with the 4100 FX processor. This machine was a little higher end. This is the older Phenom 2, but it's the 1090T, and it's not as overclockable friendly, I found. So I took the old card out, of course, and put it in here. Now I've got supposed to be a really good main board in here. It's brand new. It's the ultra durable I think it's a Gigabyte mainboard with dual BIOS. Yes, it's a Gigabyte mainboard. You can see right in there. I put a 1 terabyte drive. There's no SSD in either one of these machines. In fact, this has got the green version, which everybody says is slow, but I found it worked fine. This has got the 7200 RPM, the blue caviar, and it's got, I think it's got a green one for storage in there, a 500. And I got a Pioneer DVD, and I don't have a push-pull. I got an all-copper heatsink, and I got a pretty good fan on there, and I've got Corsair RAM in there, 2 4 gig sticks, so there's 8 gig in there, running at 1600. Haven't got them overclocked. The card's not overclocked. I got an Antec 620 gaming power supply, which I actually haven't been too thrilled with. Too many wires. Look at this. I tried to do some cable management. This power supply was not cheap. Have not been satisfied. I should have gone modular. That was my mistake. It's never let me down, but I'm not impressed with it. I'll just say that much. The main board, so far it's been good to me. I tried the FX processor in it. It's an AMD board, and the FX just didn't seem to take to the board even with the BIOS update. So what I did was I slapped the 1090 back in there, put this on it, reloaded the operating system and the drivers, and boom, away it went. No problem at all with the T90 Phenom 2. And I don't think, yes, I had a mild overclock from the stock. There's you know, sort of a turbo boost feature, something like Intel, and but what I did was I just took all 6 cores and I went from 3.2, which is the stock, and I went up to I think I put it to 3.6. This processor has played every game I've thrown at it as well, without any problem at all. So I put the lower end card in here, which only rates 7.6 on the Windows Experience Index if you're interested. So I threw this back together, and over here is my, well, all the Intel boys would like it. This is my Cooler Master Trooper. This is an awesome case, I'm going to tell you right now. This was expensive. This was not cheap. I've got a Corsair power supply, 800 watts in there. Multicolored fans, of course, you know. It's got Ripjaws running in there. It's got an ASUS power supply, or ASUS motherboard, ASUS video card. It's got the GTX 56 or 560 Ti C2 Corsair power supply, and the Intel Core i5 Ivy bridge. And I did have the Sandy bridge in it, the 2500K, both overclockable, and I found it as slow as can be. This has got solid state hard drive, Corsair, SSD, 120 gig. I got a 1 terabyte for storage, 16 G of RAM. I didn't want to go too crazy with the RAM. As you can see, this is a machine that Intel boys would think is pretty good. The card supposedly is right up there with the ATI 6950. Honestly, my AMD 4100 kicked its butt, both with the 2500K, with a mild overclock on it, and the new CPU I put in there yesterday with a brand new heatsink, the 3570K Ivy bridge. I had to update the BIOS. The machine looks amazing. I'll zoom in on it there, if I can. It boots in about 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds. The Windows sign doesn't even have a chance, you know, the symbol that swirls for Windows 7 doesn't even have a chance to finish. It's just like boom,